All right, so season ended. We are now carried over into the next season. Um, I did not feel bad about not forfeiting this game. If he had a significant lead, I would have considered forfeiting. However, I just logged in and there's a significant issue. My C-Zone 61 fleet's missing. So he killed 2 fighters, 4 destroyers, and a carrier. He attacked with 6 fighters and only lost 3. He got another better than top 10%, like top 8% result in a sea battle. And that might be the dagger for me. But between that and my UK attacking his uh, Japan fleet, and I lost 4 more fighters. So average battle on 6 fighters attacking my fleet here was that 2 of my fighters should have lived and landed right here where they could have flown into Moscow. Because that's the issue now. Now I don't have anybody flying into Moscow. So that's what should have happened. So now that's a 5 fighter swing, right? His 3 fighters should be dead. I should have 2 fighters on the board. So it's a 5 fighter swing there. And the UK attacking the Japan, remember, I was supposed to have 4 fighters live, and instead they all died, and he's got a carrier and 2 battleships living. So again, there's another 7-ish, 70 I don't even know. A lot of IPC swing, 94 IPC swing there, 60 or 50 IPC swing here, and that's me losing a lot of fighters that were supposed to be going to Moscow. Very frustrating. But I mean, that's when you live by sea battles. That's what you risk, I guess. I didn't expect him to take the battle. I mean, I guess it was worth a 1 round shot, right, for him, and see what happens. But the fact that he took it tells me that he's probably feeling the pressure a little bit. Anyways, he did not kill this guy, so I don't have to worry about throwing a US guy in there to block Germany. I'm going to go ahead and fly my bomber in here. It reduces, so Moscow, where it was going to be like a 40% shot for him, is now a 75% shot for him. Um, if he decides to go for it. If he waits a turn, he'll have he'll have a 100% shot. But he may, with 9 fighters sitting there, he's probably going to go for it based on everything, all his other actions. I can't imagine him not, and the fact that he set it up, he's got no one else for his transports to go grab. So I can't imagine him not going for it. But 75% odds, average results, and here I go again with saying average results, is that his Air Force lives and only 3 tanks. So imagine all this ground except for 3 tanks. So he'd be down to 3 tanks, 4 fighters, or excuse me, 4 infantry, 5 infantry, 12 ground units, on the board for Germany. And US, we're going to buy 2 factories, and so they're going to be all set up and ready to roll down here. So, I mean, even with these 2 horrendous sea battles, I still don't feel out of it yet. Although it's going to start heating up as he built 3 bombers there, 3 bombers here. Things are definitely going to start heating up on me, and the kitchen's going to get very hot. um, so I need to be preparing an Atlantic fleet. I need to continue to build my Pacific fleet. The good news is once I get this, and with my factory going here, is I can keep building units, C units N36 as I need to, as Japan grows and Germany bombers grow. So we're buying 5 infantry. I know I could get 7, but I'm not even going to have the transports for them, and I couldn't build transports in these units. Well, I suppose I could actually, right? I just don't worry about transporting them down. Well, anyways, he's going to go ahead and take Madagascar back because I can go to 32 and not have any threat there. So we'll do that. And 1, 2, 3, we can't put there, but we could actually take 2 infantry out and build a transport here. So I put a transport, put some infantry in here, tuck this transport into the safety of here as well. Bring my guys, bring my fighter. And that'll give me 5 units for my 2 transports. Yeah, I think that's a better go of it. Of course, if I don't build the transport, I can move these 2 infantry over right now, and then be 2 next turn, and I'm going to be 4 next turn. Yeah, we're going to go with it. We're not going to overthink this. So, these guys can't reach me. Bomber 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 can't reach me. These guys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they can't reach me, so I can send a naked transport, be safe there. As tempting it is to try to pick off some of these infantry and risk it, I don't think I want to do that. I'm going to give him opportunities. You know, he's only got 5 infantry and 3 guys back here. He's going to want to use these bombers to attack Moscow if he goes for it this turn, so we're going to throw them in there for him. Yeah, I don't think I was thinking about throwing him in there and tempt him with pulling units back, but then it's starting to get to, okay, well, I'll just wait a turn and then take Moscow, because he should get it next turn regardless. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Maybe I will. Yeah, I think I'm going to give him lots of options and maybe discourage him from taking that one more turn. Letting my guys live. And then I can run and make him chase me and I don't know what. See, I don't need the fighter in this grouping, I don't think. 2 destroyers, cruiser, battleship carrier. I mean, that's 5, 6 hit points. His 3 bombers. Yeah, we can go ahead and send the fighter over here just in case we can do something better with him. So with these Japan guys, I gotta pull back. I can't even land into Africa. I could. Do I want to give him another option, right? Throw another transport down here. Give him these to attack. gonna do this. I'm just curious. I mean, it's a play game at this point, so I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna learn about Toadstum. We're gonna do some learning for if I ever run into him again. See how he handles it. So what I'm saying is if he sends everything to Moscow right now, he's got a 75% chance to wipe it. He could send a fighter bomber to kill the free transport here. He could send a bomber to kill a free transport here. And he could use his bombers to hit these guys. He could use a transport to come back and drop and kill a tank. But every single one of those units he takes decreases his chances in Moscow. So if he takes the other ones, then it lets Moscow live a turn and lets these units escape. So, what does he value more? We're going to see. Did I move everybody? Did I forget anybody? Subs. Oh, shoot. We need to get you guys back here. What one has he got coming? 29. That could be a carrier destroyer, 22 sub, carrier destroyer sub. So let's see, carrier destroyer sub would mean what? He's got carrier destroyer sub, a couple fighters. Throw in 3 of those guys, 1 of those guys. Don't really got enough to dead zone him. How much do I need? So, changing my mind once again. He's got 3 bombers coming. So yeah, so this gets a little tricky. I think if I do this, then I've only got 3 subs and a fighter that can hit these 2 things, and he could build a carrier, land some fighters on it, a destroyer, and a sub. And that would leave me pretty limited on my attacks. So I could put a couple surface ships in here that he could kill with the bomber, but without a transport. I think he takes that risk, just knowing, I mean, how he's played so far. So I'm also giving him a 40% shot on my group here with my plan, I think. So we're going to move the transport to here so he can grab 2 and come to C-Zone 36 next turn. And he's safe here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't go anywhere. These guys can't get him. These guys can't get him. So he's safe being up there by himself. We're going to put a transport, 3 units here. He'll grab 2. Transport will grab 1, 1, and then come to 36 next turn, and we'll be bringing everything into 36 next turn. And then I was kind of want to keep a destroyer. Yeah, well, we're just going to do that. 1, 2, 3. The fighters can't hit, so 3 bombers can go after my 2 destroyers and a cruiser and wipe them, obviously. Or they could come here. Or do I just let him build and then come re-dead zone it? Oi, decisions. What do I want to do? Well, the subs I do want to stay there. I think I'm going to give him the opportunity to where he can build a unit there and possibly a fleet and possibly live, and then I'll come back up in dead zone, but then that fleet's going to be rolling on out and causing, you know, meeting up with that guy. I don't like it, but I don't see any other choices here right now. So, all right. So he can go 1, 2 and match these 4 coming down versus these guys, which I didn't even really count out the math, but 3 units, 5 units, it's got to be decent. Granted, he's got double hit points on those battleships. All right, there we go. We're just gonna go with it. This is an easy one, at least. Easy turn. So, we'll see what he does, see if he goes for Moscow. Alright, so I'm going to post, hopefully I'm going to try this, post a link in the description of this video where I actually talk about this game state and how this transitions into a mid-game, late-game KJF and strategy from both an allies and Axis kind of standpoint. So I'm going to say you can go take a look at that for more of the big arching strategy. I'm just going to dive right on into what we have happened and going on here. So I didn't get the top 10%, but I did get a top 29% result for me, which means he trashed all 5 of his fighters and 1 of his bombers so that 1 tank could live to take Moscow. So, you know, you look at this now. Up here in the front, he's got these 5 guys on ground, and then he's got some guys back here, and then he's got his 3 bombers, and then his fleet. And that's all that the Germans left. And this is all the Japan left. Now, that being said, we don't got much more. You know, US has a few troops here in North Africa, scattered around here. But we are set to start our 15 units a turn here. Downside is, you know, or well, on the positive side, I've got Axis splitting their money, right? Rather than Germany getting all of this and taking all this money, I've got the Axis kind of splitting their money. So I'm kind of happy with that. But Japan still has enough. They're going to build 2. They can build 2 bombers a turn. That does not make me happy because he's already got 6 up here, and on the surface I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a, you know, essentially an even game on surface ships right now. I also, because I needed to protect my transports build, technically he could build, I want to say a carrier, destroyer, sub or something like that this turn, and fly 2 fighters on, and I would not really have it dead zoned. So we're gonna have a little bit of a resurgence of Japan. At least the rest of the fleet's over here. They can't combine in there. I'll be able to tuck these transports into safety. Again, the Thailand build allows me to build so that I'm ready to buy a fighter and whatever else I got to build in order to make it safe versus whatever Japan does. So, um, so I'm not sure how I feel about the board state. I'm not sure who's in the lead right now, to be honest. I don't like the fact that Germany has 3 bombers and Japan has 3 bombers already. On the positive side, I do got 2 carriers in the Atlantic. I'm going to build a 3rd carrier actually this turn, and I've got a carrier battleship over here in the Pacific. Um, Germany's going to build faster, so that's why I need more coverage over here, and so that's why I'm going to build a 3rd carrier. Good news again, because he has no fighters left, it's still not going to take me, even though he just took out Moscow, it's not going to take much for me to dead zone the Baltic. So hopefully going to do that. These bombers can't reach over here as long as I take France, so I only got to protect against 1 bomber to take France here. So that's what we're going to focus in on. I'm hoping that I can draw my defense line at India. So I'm going to actually pull the... Oh, I can't pull both these guys. I was thinking I was going to pull both those guys. I can't pull both those guys. I can only pull one of those guys. So I'm going to pull at least one of them back over here. And so what I'm preparing is Germany 8, right? He's going to have at least 4 infantry, a tank. So he's got 5 units right there. He's got 6, 7, 8 with his bombers. He can build 4 tanks, so he can have 12 plus maybe he builds a bomber or 2 up here as well. So we're looking at, potentially 12 to 13 units facing down India on G9. So that gives me UK7, UK8 to build units. So I can build 6, 9. I can pull one over 10. And then that's going to give me, let's see, US7 and US8. So US7, we're going to bring 4, 5, 6. And so anyways, I've lost count there. But hopefully I'm not pulling it all the way out. I'm going to have enough to hold on to India. We shall see. Meanwhile, I want him to either have to build more Air Force and Navy for these guys to survive or kill this. So I'm actually going to move my fleet on into the Mediterranean here, both my UK and my US. And we're either going to get into a build battle with Germany having to focus on Navy, and that means he's not building ground to come down this way, or he's going to have to let me take a shot at his Navy. So here we go. We're building 5 infantry, 3 for here, 2 for here for my transport. We are going to go ahead and build another carrier with a fighter on it to go into the sea zone here, to protect against the bomber here. And that's what we're going to do. Now, this artillery, he's pretty much a goner, so we're going to make him come back for good use. I wish I could come over here and do a bombard, but you got to bombard from the same sea zone as your transport. So I am not going to bombard. I've debated this move left and right, but one of the moves that Japan can do is it can build an inland factory. They don't really, it's risky to build a factory on the coast because US could potentially take it. So he could build an inland factory, in which case he's going to want a 2 territory. So I'd rather push Japan to building back here than building right up here near the front line. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Plus, I think he'll want to take it with Germany, so maybe that'll distract a couple of his infantry over this direction versus coming all straight into Persia. I think that's all we got. attack-wise, right? Yep. You can see, oh, by the way, one thing I didn't comment on the other one is, you know, you expect the Axis to have stronger attack power at this point. That's why it's important for allies that had the infrastructure and the income to come back in a KJF. So KJF, allies gets well behind in attack power. So if you're watching your attack power in a KJF, don't get too caught up. Now this game is interesting. Our attack power's 177, very low. I mean, we've pretty much wiped each other out at this point. So, in any case, find it interesting. There we go. Now, one thing by coming in here, I'm telegraphing to him that I'm bringing my U.S. Navy in here too, which gives him a little bit of freedom with what he wants to do with these guys. Like, they could come up here to C-Zone 22 and start creating some harassment, and I can't get back and reach him. But if he does move there, I'll be building some subs on this side of the U.S. since he has no destroyers. I kind of suspect him to keep on coming this way while he's building his Air Force so that he can pick up units and cause havoc on the backside of me. And so I got to be building some. I definitely have to be building up my units on this side to prepare for them coming around that direction too. Let's see. I think I'm going to take the tank back to here. Leave him in there. In my mind, I was taking them both. I was thinking that was an infantry and a tank when I was pre-planning my move. Go ahead and get these guys over, ready to hopefully be picked up at some point. Alright. There's not a whole lot to move. I don't normally see a KJF with this few units at this stage. This is kind of a little bit of an oddity in how this game's played out. If you've been following the game, you've seen some of the craziness that's happened. I do want to do this as fighter before carrier. I know it's a little bit risky, but I don't want him just doing the one bomber and hitting my carrier. So I'm going to hope that fighter can hit back on the first shot. He'll only have a shot at one transport, so I don't know that he'll take that shot, but he's surprised me a couple times already, so I shouldn't say I don't know if he'd do anything. There we go. So here's a closer look at the board currently. You know, I expect more bombers to show up, but the good news is if he's building more bombers and building fighters for his fleet or building a destroyer for his fleet, that's less, you know, infantry and tanks he's building, and that'll make me happy. So I plan on bringing all, including my transports, everything in here to C-Zone 14 next turn. And then, of course, we'll see what. It's gonna get interesting because we got 4 navies and we got the turn order we got to be careful of. Africa, you know, I'm gonna have them protected. That's also if I've got my 4 transports. If I need to pull them out and re-engage them elsewhere in Africa, I can. We're gonna pull the tank back around during US's turn. We're gonna pull this guy back over to C zone 36 if we pull everything else down into C zone 36. Oh, I don't know why I stuck my transport there. Duh. I just sat him out for the Japan to hit. I should have brought him down here where that was a silly mistake. I mean, it's not a big deal other than the fact I'm not going to be able to grab these guys. Silly mistake, but not a critical mistake because, again, the transport, I don't need that transport necessarily. It was just a kind of a luxury item to be able to use a shoot over here or to sacrifice up this way if I need to and grab these guys. Oh well. Maybe he'll overlook it. I doubt it. He's too good of a player to overlook it. But alright, there we go. This is what we're looking like. Like I said, very low numbers, but he does have 6 bombers on the board.